Yes, good morning, everybody. Eggs, Bacon, and Joey. And look, we have a guest here this morning, folks. His name is Scott Harris from CHiPS Pool Service. Scott, how are you, my man?
I'm good, brother. Good morning. Good morning to your listeners.
Thank you so very much for joining us. You know, you and I were having a conversation off the air, and we were talking about, you know, just TV and radio in general and how kind of things have changed. A lot of people, recording their programs now.
Yes.
Not a lot of people watch things live. So, in a sense, I feel like that's the same way that people handle their pools.
Yeah, it can be. It really
because
can
they're
be.
going, it's the winter season. Let's not worry about it,
Yes.
and they put it on record or pause for a minute.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it starts getting hot, end of March, beginning of April.
Yep.
And people want their pools back, man. First off, tell me, because you have a great story. And I want you to give me a little bit of a background to the CHiPS Pool Service. And as you guys can see on the screen right now, we have information about CHiPS Pool Service, 559-786-4956. CHiPS has something to do there with CHP. Come on, give me a little background. What got you into starting the pool service?
Well, CHiPS comes from the fact that I was a highway patrolman for 30 years. I recently retired. And I had a partner who used to work with me. And he ended up having to retire medically, and he started doing pool service. This was about 15 years ago. And so off and on, I would help him out whenever he needed to go on vacation or what have you. And as I got closer to retirement, he and I were having a conversation about what I might do to stay busy. And he says, well, why don't you do pools? And I said, well, I have been for a while, so I guess I'll give it a shot. So I came up with the CHiPS name, California Home Pool Service, as a kind of an homage to the California Highway Patrol and my service there. So that's kind of where the name comes from.
What's cool is that, I feel like it was meant to be, because California Home Pool Service,
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. I have to say
It worked out pretty good.
It worked out pretty good.
All right, man. So really quick, let's get into some of the things that you see that are common mistakes with pools these days. Like, for example, I know there's algae. There's the fact of making sure that you're turning on your sweeper. A lot of people are not, putting that on an automatic timer and things like that.
Yes.
So go ahead and give me some information on some things that are common right now that are pretty bad for pools.
Well, I think, like you said earlier, right now with it being winter, a lot of people kind of just forget about their pool. Maybe they don't spend much time in their backyard because it's cold. You figure, I don't need to worry about it. So you don't keep the chemicals balanced properly, so you start to grow a little bit of algae. Maybe you don't run your filtration system as long as you should. And so, again, that algae starts to build up, the dust, the leaves start to collect. And the problem just starts to compile, because now when it does become time to start using your pool, either you or your pool service is going to have to work a lot harder to get your pool back to where it should be. Where realistically, you want to keep doing the same thing during the winter that you were doing during the summer, and that's maintaining your chemicals, making sure your filter is working properly. You can usually run your filter less a little bit in the winter, but you don't want to cut it off completely, because that's what keeps your pool clean, is that filtration system, and that's what keeps the chemicals in the water sanitizing the system, is that filter continually running. Again, it doesn't have to run as long, but you want to do this. So a lot of people kind of let that go, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's starting to get warm. Now, once it starts warming up, that algae is going to grow quickly if you don't have the chemicals balanced properly. And usually what you're going to find, you have three types basically. You've got green, yellow, and black. The green and the yellow aren't nearly as difficult to deal with. It's the black algae that is really, really tough to get rid of once it starts, and it can grow very quickly, even in the winter. So you want to make sure that you have the proper chemical balance, that you're cleaning the pool normally, just like you would in the summer. Maybe you're not using it unless you happen to be a lucky one and you heat your pool. But for most folks, they don't worry about that during the winter. You have to keep those things balanced just like you do in the summer, because if you don't, it takes a lot more chemicals, which is going to cost you more in the long run to get your pool back into shape.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. And then you got a lot of people out there that say, oh, well, I could just do it on my own. I can just take care of my own pool on my own. But the thing is that when you don't have a pool service, you don't have somebody that's just focused on taking care of your pool. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And this is a true story on my end. I thought, hey, I could do this on my own. I could be my own pool guy. But what happened? I would forget a week, and then I would forget the right chemical. I'd forget that I have chlorine in my pool. I mean, I got so busy with other things, family and stuff, that I forgot about my pool. So one of the things that I did is I reached out, looked for a pool service, and said, hey, can you help me out? Because I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So I think people need to realize that, you really got to put a lot of concentration to your pool.
You really do. You can take care of your own pool. That's not really the question. It's consistency. And in today's busy life with your kids running around at school and various other activities, and then you have your job, and then you come home, you want to enjoy your home and relax with your family. So you're like, okay, you know what, I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you don't get to it. So ultimately, the chemicals start to kind of disappear out of your pool. It gets dirty. You don't realize or you don't notice that maybe something's not working out in your backyard. And it just kind of goes downhill from there. So having a pool service, you have someone who's focused on coming to your home and your pool every week and spending time making sure that your equipment is working properly, that the chemicals are balanced properly in your pool, and that you're cleaning it out. And that way you don't have to worry about it. And that's the whole idea. And that's kind of why I even got into the business is number one, I didn't like paying somebody a bunch of money and then not showing up.
Oh man.
and I had that experience a few times. So I said, you know what, this isn't right. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take care of people's pools the way I would take care of my own pool. And so that's what I try to do. I want to make sure that your pool looks nice and clean like it should, because that's the way it should be. And I don't charge an arm and a leg for what I'm doing, because again, I take pride in my work just like I did when I was a high patrolman, and I want to provide you with the same service and make sure that you're happy with your pool, that you don't have to worry about your pool. I'm going to show up when I'm supposed to show up, and that's the way it should be. So you don't have to worry about that. So whether you come out to your backyard in the middle of winter or the middle of summer, your pool is good to go. At least in the winter, you can look at it and appreciate that.
So tell us how our viewers and listeners can get in touch with you and how to book an appointment, all that good stuff.
The easiest way is to call me, 559-786-4956. I do have a Facebook page, California Home Pool Service. I'm working on a website right now. When that comes up online, you'll be able to book an appointment through the website with me. But for now, just give me a call. It's my own business. I'm the only one working on it. My son helps me out every once in a while. But you call, it's going to be me, and we'll work out when I can come by, and I try to get there as quickly as I can. And like I said, I think I'm real reasonable in my prices. I can take care of your equipment. I can provide replacement parts, pretty much whatever you need, I can probably do. And if I can't do it, I'll get somebody who can.
California Home Pool Service, folks. Scott, thank you so very much, man.
So much.
I appreciate your time.
Really appreciate it.
And folks, the number's on the screen, 559-786-4956. You got to get your pool taken care of, folks. And this is the man to do it. He takes care of my pool. That's how much I trust this guy right here. Scott Harris,
Thank you,
California Home Pool Service. Stay with us. More eggs, bacon, and Joey on the way. Don't go anywhere.